So you are looking at a wet spot in your yard, knowing you have a leak in your water main. Should you repair it in this one spot or replace it? In this video, I'm going to share our experience with you, why we replaced our entire water main from the water meter to the house, and then add in a couple other considerations you may need to keep in mind before deciding if a repair or a full replacement is the best answer for you. Before we dive right into it, here are a couple CYA suggestions. Before you start digging, make sure to call 811 so your service providers can mark the water, electrical, gas, and cable lines going to your property, and you can safely dig. Also, remember to check in with your local building authority to learn the proper plumbing code requirements for your area. If you need to pull a permit and other logistics that, if missed, could make your house harder to sell later on. In our case, we could have just modified our waterizer to accommodate Fin Plus, an excellent water monitor and shutoff system on the water service line. However, this project turned into a full-on replacement for a few reasons. First, when we started excavating, we took a hard look at the condition of the water main on the house side of the water service line. We discovered some significant dimples in the underside of the copper line. I'll explain more about this in a minute and keep this in chronological order. At this point, we also saw how close the water main runs in proximity to the side yard, where an RV gate is an open invitation for heavy vehicles to potentially run over the water main. Our thought process was, if we rerouted the existing line further into the middle of the yard in a lower traffic location, this isn't a job we'd be repeating anytime soon. So something to keep in mind is, don't just assume that a water main replacement is a remove and replace in the same location. If you look at your leak as an opportunity, perhaps there's a better place for the new line to run. So we were already leaning towards a replacement and started digging on the opposite side of the meter box to look at the condition of the copper whip on that side of the water service line. We discovered more dents along the top side of the copper line. The problem with dents like this is that it creates turbulence within the line. A city inspector verified this phenomenon. With dents like these, this is the weak point. The turbulence will create a weak spot, blowing out water on the opposite side. If you don't have the convenience of doing your own visual inspection because nothing's already uncovered, getting the line scoped and officially inspected by a licensed plumber before making a final decision is a good idea. A water service line break is a costly, mostly unplanned expense, and you can save yourself a repeat visit to fix an additional leak later if they discover the entire line is in bad condition and a full-on replacement is the correct answer. On top of our findings, many of our neighbors have repaired or replaced their lines. Our extra confirmation of this issue in our neighborhood was when we talked to the city to confirm our plan and what we intended to use to replace the line. They asked for our neighborhood and kind of laughed when they acknowledged they know water main breaks are an issue in this neighborhood.
So this is your first one of the morning because your boots are dry.
Yeah. Yep.
So the takeaways from our experience that you can apply to your own situation are, number one, look at the state of the plumbing you've already uncovered and can see at either end. Number two, is the reason the leak is occurring due to the location of the line? And this isn't just, as in our case, heavy vehicles pressing rocks damaging the copper, but also items like tree roots or other problems that need to be removed or the new line getting rerouted. Number three, talk to your neighbors and give the city a call. Depending on your results, you'll get a better idea on whether you're looking at just a repair or if the entire run should be replaced. Here are some other items you want to take into account. Depending on the age of your city and plumbing, some materials that you may uncover, such as lead or galvanized pipes, may not be legal to repair and must be replaced. It also depends on the age of the line and the condition. For instance, copper generally has a service life of about 50 years. So if you're within 5 to 10 years of your plumbing reaching the end of life and you already have one leak, it might be a sign there are more leaks in the works and it's time for a replacement. Just as a side note here, that's also why we put in a whole house water monitor and shutoff system when our first under slab leak occurred, and you can check out my other videos on Fin Plus and Flow by Moen on the channel. While a water monitor and shutoff system is not put on a water main in the yard, it is helpful in detecting leaks on all the plumbing inside the house. Not only can pipes age out, but the pH of soil can eat away at different materials if it's not protected. I'll cover this in an upcoming video on how we protected the new PEX and copper line so we don't have to care as much about the pH of the soil, rocks, and stray vehicles. When you think about repairing a water service line, you think about digging a hole to access the point of the leak. Likewise, you may also be envisioning digging a huge trench across the entire yard to replace the whole water service line. With this, you might think that a repair will be cheaper than replacing a line, and technically that's probably true. However, if you're paying someone to do this, ask for both numbers because certain parts of both scenarios are fixed price and shared across both, such as permit fees, labor crews deployed, and equipment brought to the site. For instance, if a skid steer or trencher of some type is used in either case, it might not take that much longer to dig out an entire trench, and the cost increase might not be as big as you think. It doesn't hurt to ask for estimates of both scenarios. When you start researching further, you may hear of trenchless replacement. Generally, this involves opening up your wallet and paying a company to either use an auger to burst your broken line while replacing it by pushing through a new line at the same time, or to reuse the old line by fixing it with an epoxy lining to fill in the cracks, essentially creating a pipe within a pipe. It may or may not cost more because a crew isn't used to dig a trench, it may be faster, and your yard will not have as many scars from the replacement process. But if you're going the DIY route, this probably isn't the answer for you because of the specialized tools and process. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if not, add a comment on what was missed. We are all here to learn, myself included, and my experience will not be the same as yours, so please share in the comments. Also, consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss the videos where I'll be going over the steps we took to replace and protect our new water service line, which I will add links in the description when they come out. In the meantime, I have a couple videos on the depth a water service line should go, code requirements for bedding materials to protect the new line, and what is used to connect the line to the water meter. I wish you the best of luck in your plumbing project, and I will see you next Friday.